but at the same time.
Hi, my name is Cynthia. I'm going to be giving my speech on adding a tax on plastic bagging. I work at a supermarket as a courtesy clerk, and I have come to realize that people take advantage of bagging. People often ask for bagging or double bagging on items that do not need it. I myself, because it is my job, I use probably more than 250 bags in just a 5-hour shift. And you can just imagine 6 other courtesy clerks bagging, and we're open for 16 hours a day. So if you do the math, it's at least a minimum of 20,000 bags a day, and we're also 7 days a week, and that's just us. So just imagine every other supermarket, just locally or in the whole world. My proposition is adding a sales tax on plastic bagging can help lower pollution ratings, better our marine life, and even help our economy. Adding a sales tax on plastic bagging can help lower pollution ratings by more than 50%. According to Plastic vs. Paper, .weebly.com, adding a sales tax would greatly reduce use. Washington, D.C. put a 5-cent fee on all disposable bags and saw an 80% reduction. Most plastic bags that are sent to be recycled end up being sent to a country that has little to no recycling policy. So what happens is they just burn them, and people think that that's good, right? Because we're getting rid of them and they're not ending up in the ocean. Not exactly. So what happens is that the chemicals of the bags being burned are also bad for the environment when they go into the atmosphere, and they're also bad for people's own health. So ProjectGreenBag.com states plastic bags are an oil-based product which contains the chemical elements of hydrogen and carbon. When plastic bags burn, the composition of the bags mixed with the heat produces a highly toxic chemical called dioxin. Dioxins have been linked to cancer and can interfere with the endocrine gland system, which produces hormones, and have been known to affect both the immune system and reproduction. Secondly, adding a sales tax can help our struggling marine life. Plastic is the most common material found in the ocean, and it's the most harmful, as most animals mistake it for food. ConservingEnergyFuture.com states plastic debris absorb toxic chemicals from ocean pollution, therefore poisoning whatever eats it. So basically, if we're eating seafood and these animals are already poisoned, it goes into us. So if we're harming the animals themselves, we're also harming ourselves when we eat the food. Only about 70% of plastic bags that end up in the ocean will never decompose. What happens to the bags when they're in the ocean is they start breaking apart, but they're never going to decompose. There's nothing in the ocean that will help them decompose, they just break apart. Lastly, adding a sales tax on plastic bags can help our economy in many ways. Businesses can save money if they cut down the buying of plastic bags. On average, retail stores spend at least $4 trillion on plastic bags altogether. In an article from Global Citizen, in an observation on the dramatic changes that eliminating plastic bags had in the city, globalcitizen.org claims not only can eliminating plastic trash save lives, it can also boost economies. The city of Rhonda has seen an increase in tourism. So basically, have you seen our beaches? They're so dirty. No one, who wants to come here and have fun in the beach, right? It's so dirty. So if we help clean our beaches and help clean our cities, our tourism will increase and better economy. Adding a tax on bags will cut the use dramatically. It will save business millions of dollars. It is time that we, as the current residents of our home planet Earth, do something about the damage that is being done to our planet, and along the way we can help marine life and help our economy get back on track. Thank you.
Take it easy. It's not your turn yet. Take it easy.
You got an outline for me?
Oh. Sorry.
It's all right. Thank you. All right, well, you identify the proposition, and the proposition ends up being divided into three parts, which is really the preview of what your structure is. You've kind of integrated them together, which is a little bit awkward, but it's still relatively clear. It ends up sounding like you're advocating three propositions, though, rather than a single proposition that the secondary points are supporting. So I would probably stick with the more generic proposition and then just use the supporting points as separate proof of that main point. I like the story that you talk about your personal experience at the beginning to introduce a way of seeing how significant the bag use is. I thought that was good. It helps build some credibility for you. I think you signposted the supporting points pretty clearly in the structure of the speech. I do think you rush some of the assumptions and information that you're presenting because it seems like you are quick to make inferences. The Washington, D.C. Experience, for instance, you said they added a nickel a bag tax, and then there's been an 80% reduction. Is that an 80% reduction in the number of bags that they utilize? So they went from 20,000 bags a day in like your local grocery store to 4,000 bags a day, because that's basically what you're saying. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or if they're talking about that there are fewer bags that are now seen on the streets, or that are not being recycled or something. So I think you've got data there that needs a little bit of clarification to make your point. And this is one of those things where you're kind of rushing through the information, and there's probably an explanation that would clarify it and make it more convincing. The same kind of argument applied when you're talking about the beaches. We've got a kind of a negative visualization of how bad our beaches are. I'm going, I'm not exactly sure. Our beaches are lacking for tourists, and I'm not sure that the people who aren't going to the beach aren't going because there are bags on the beach. I'm not saying that people want bags on the beach, but I'm saying there needs to be a little bit of information to go along with this. So you've got kind of a description of what you think's going on, and this one, it's the opposite of the other, where you had the proof but not much description. Here we got the description without the proof that follows up on it, and I think you need the combination of those two things. When you mention the economics, for instance, and you're talking about tourism, well, if the plastic bag industry is a $4 trillion industry, which, by the way, that sounds like a lot. I would double check that number. $4 trillion. I don't think we have any industry in the world that is a $4 trillion industry. The oil business isn't a $4 trillion business. So I think there's probably just a number transition there, that maybe it's $1 billion industry or something like that. 4 trillion, though, if you get that number wrong, it undermines people's credibility about you. That's a lot. I don't think the whole U.S. economy is $4 trillion. So, to say the plastic bag industry is bigger than the whole U.S. economy would just be, I'm going, no, that can't be right. But if it is, and you're suggesting that 80% of it's going to go away, I'm trying to figure out, well, if we lose $3 trillion worth of business, I'm not sure we're going to get $3 trillion worth of tourism to supplement that. So there's got to be an argument here that explains why the advantages are greater than any disadvantage that would occur, and I don't get that. I think you do a good job presenting. I like the language in the speech for the most part. You've got nice transition phrases. Some of it you've written in an interesting way. Same sort of thing, though. There's a tendency to sort of rush through some of that. You've got time. Maybe it's just a little anxiety that gets you going, or maybe just the phrase just seems like it works better if you're saying it faster. But I think you need to pace yourself a little bit more. All right, thank you.